Welcome to the July 22nd, 2025 meeting of the Sewer Commission. This meeting is being recorded and streamed by Millbury Public Access Cable Television. This meeting is also available through zoom.us/download. Zoom meeting ID number is 896-5699-1798. That number again is 896-5699-1798. Anyone who is participating through zoom.us/download should state their name and address when speaking. It's now 4 o'clock. I'll call this meeting to order. Okay, the first item on the talk about is the minutes from last meeting, July 8th. Have you both read it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept it. Mr.
Second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is sewer connection permits. We have none. Next item is abatements. We have none.
You do have
Oh,
two
we do.
abatements.
Oh,
I think you gotta take a vote to hear them, and then vote on them.
oh, okay.
They came in after, they only came in yesterday, so we decided to add them in. So that's just a pool deduction.
Okay. Motion to approve the sewer abatement of $169.20.
I think you have to take the first vote to hear the item.
Oh, okay. I need a motion to add items to this agenda.
I make that motion.
I second.
Never did that before.
We got yelled at by Jane last time, we didn't do
Uh-huh.
that.
Is that right?
That's what we do now.
Yeah.
Okay, the amount of the abatement is $169.20 for 16 Prospect Street. It's a full reduction. Motion,
I'll make a motion.
second,
I second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
This was just a meter deduction error. They sent it in on time, went through the online portal, but for whatever reason, never got sent to me. So I seen it on the online version and they gave me the picture that came in. Everything's right
No.
here.
Is it well?
Yes.
$28 for the center.
Yeah, they're barely ever home. So that's kind of why they joined the program.
Okay, we have another abatement for 71 Park Hill Ave. The abatement is for $155.10, bringing their bill down to $28.20. The well account.
I make the motion we accept.
Second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Another one?
Drain layer. It'll be the next one on the agenda.
Mark, have you had a chance to look at this?
Yes.
No problems?
No issues, no.
Okay.
There's no one here in town.
He is, yeah.
Motion to approve drain layers license for William Hackett doing business as all-in-one drain cleaning. Motion,
I make a motion to approve it.
second,
I second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
motion, we have a sewer commitment amount for the water, April 1st through June 30th. The amount is $793,859.20. Motion to approve the commitment.
Make a motion to approve this commit.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
How's that compared to other commitments?
It's a little low this time
It
around.
was?
The abatement that we gave the Co-Grow place, it turned out we took about, I think, 40,000 off their bill. We have a marijuana grow facility in town. And their claim was that all the water that went into the building was just taken up by the plants, never made it to the sewer system. So we said, all right, well, go ahead and put a meter on your sewer line, and they did. And they were right. It's just not much of that water leaves the building. So that's where a lot of that money went.
It was a nice check we were getting from them.
Right, yeah, for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Next item on the agenda. We have guests with us today from the town of Sutton. They're here to discuss the intermunicipal agreement. They have questions that they'd like some answers to. Attending from Sutton is Jack Sheehan, Dan Laside, and Don Ochowski. At this point, I'll turn this over to Mark. Mark has all this information, pages of information for you to review and stuff, but,
All right, yeah, thank you. So do you want me to start? Do you guys want to, do I understand your questions right? Do my kind of draft responses make sense? Or do you want me to just kind of go through the materials here?
Yeah, why don't you go through it? I haven't digested all of this.
Yeah, sure.
Mark, but it's a start, and then maybe we can jump in with a
Okay.
question. Does that make sense to you, Don?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
All right, so essentially, item 1 here is the 4th paragraph. We're just looking for some clarification about the origin of our operation and maintenance costs.
Yep,
And how exactly we bill you guys.
yep.
So if you look at our latest invoice on the next page here, the O&M expenditures are kind of broken out into line items. We have purchase services, we have utilities, supplies, salaries, indirect costs, and the Upper Blackstone assessment. So looking at those buckets, when we get invoices in, the things that are appropriate to code as eligible, which means eligible for billing to Sutton, we code them that way.
Mhm.
And then, so your portion of those expenses is listed here as Sutton eligible. If you go to the next page, what we've done in the past, and when I first started here, this was essentially the cheat sheet that we used to kind of code the invoices that Sutton had some responsibility for.
Okay.
What I've tried to do now is just update it and kind of make it a little bit clearer for everyone. So now these titles here kind of match up with the invoices that will be sent to you. So when you look at utilities, you'll know exactly which utilities you're responsible for paying part of.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, you've got Sutton sewer bills eligible
Mhm.
expenditures. That means they're eligible. That means is that a standard we're gonna pay for all of these? And then below it says expenses billed based on flow percentage.
Right.
What is
So-
the difference?
So you are responsible for your portion of all these expenses, the ones that we have listed as eligible expenses. And your portion of that is based on your flow percentage, which historically we're talking about 11, 12, 13%.
Who comes up with the 11, 12, 13%? I mean,
So that's just based on how much of your flow compared against the total flow that gets pumped out of our plant. And it changes. So if you look at the summary for the year,
Yeah, I saw that.
it kind of changes per month.
Right.
But we send the flow data. You guys have access to our flow data through the high tide system now. So all these numbers are certainly out there. And now, so you can have a look at this. And if something, we've always done it this way, it doesn't mean we have to do it this way. If you don't feel responsible for paying for some of this, we can talk about it.
I want to- No.
Right. Right. And then, the next page here for indirect costs, we've kind of already taken that step Indirect costs are essentially what the town charges the sewer department. So the sewer department gets charged almost $500,000, and we pay that to the town to cover a lot of these expenses, the finance department, the finance committee, the town manager, all that. What we've done is kind of gone through and looked at each of those line items and taken them off, the amount of the indirect costs that we're gonna charge you all.
It seems like a flat rate going across every thing.
Alright, so,
You know, the Ford says right here, it just says
Right.
454.
so that was previous, that was fiscal year '25.
Yeah.
What I'm offering here, fiscal year '26, this column here, we're gonna remove a lot of those items.
Okay, yeah.
So going forward, instead of 470,000 next year, we're down to 408,000. So we're gonna just modify the indirect costs where it's appropriate. And again, this is something that, feel free to have a look, let us know if that makes sense. And then we can kind of talk about it from there.
So I think the thing that, if I can interject here without, the subjective part of it comes into, when I was reading back in the intermunicipal agreement, the idea, that it were incidental costs, which, there's no term in the agreement that talks about indirect costs.
Right.
You know, there are costs that are associated with the main sewer line. And, you know, capital costs and that sort of thing, which are easy. You know, those are things that, you know, there are specific definitions to what those things are. And we've had examples of those over the last couple of years, the breakage across the Blackstone River and the testing stuff, I think that we just had recently. But the incidental costs, you know, kind of get to be sort of a gray area. The only reference that I remember in there is that things that benefit only Millbury, we shouldn't have any participation in the cost
Right.
portion of. So, stuff that's on this list, and I can't really address this in particular, that don't have any benefit to the main line, so to speak,
Right.
of our participation, you know, in this sewer enterprise, whatever we're calling it here. We shouldn't have, you know, it shouldn't be
Right.
Sutton eligible. So I think something, maybe it's not this list. So for instance, the town manager salary, we have a portion of the town manager salary
Right.
as being Sutton eligible.
Right.
So how did you arrive at the 10% on that?
So you're not at 10%, the 10% is what the town charges the sewer department.
Okay,
So then of that, so that the 10% of that budget item comes down to 36,000.
yep.
On the 36,000, you're gonna get charged 11 to 12% of that.
Well, I understand that,
Okay.
right.
So how we arrived, so essentially, I mean, you know, we have to coordinate with the town manager's
Yeah.
office all the time to run our department.
Okay.
You know, and that's kind of all these items are essentially, that's the rationale, that we have to work with those folks, like the finance director. We
Right.
talk to her all the time about these things.
Mhm.
And it is subjective how much really ends up on you.
Yeah.
But it,
Well, that's my point.
and I can't speak to the
Yeah.
history of this, but we've always done it this way. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I don't know where it came from, I don't know how this started, but here we are.
Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken, back when we decided to come up with these percentages,
yeah,
I believe our finance director at the time, when we developed this, talked to Tim,
Tim Harrison? Yeah,
and they discussed these percentages and how much we should.
yeah,
So
I
this
think-
was
I think this
between
how-
the two town accountants. was it?
Yeah. So I think this is how we come up with these percentages way back.
yeah. Well, that would make some sense to me. And you know, and it's quite possible, because I don't know this, but it's quite possible there's a standard fare, that this is how this works.
Right.
Across, you know, there are, you know, probably 100,000 different sewer departments in the country, and maybe this is how everybody does it. I just don't know.
But again, I mean, what we're offering to do is kind of whittle that down where it makes sense to whittle it down.
Mhm.
Like, it's some things like, you know, you don't have to pay for any part of the public works director, because our offices don't really commingle that much anymore. So like some of these, like snow and ice, you know, we've kind of removed that. So some of these items where it just doesn't make sense for you guys to be paying any of it, we've just taken it off the table.
I guess the question that we've got in regards to these indirect costs there, is, this IMA is based upon operation and maintenance.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's how we pay our percentage, our fair share. And I think some of the questions that the commissioners are asking is, how is this particular thing reflected into your operation and maintenance? You know what I mean? I think
Right.
that's,
I mean,
I
I'd say,
think, yeah,
yeah, I
you get a
mean,
handle
the
on it.
operation of our department depends on the finance director.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, so operationally, we need some of these folks, we need the town manager to
Yeah.
kind of make decisions for us.
I mean,
So
I'm
like
not, we don't wanna start dissecting this here.
Well,
You know what I mean?
but
You know,
you need
to a
answers.
degree.
Yeah, but we've
You still
already,
need answers, you
Yeah.
need to understand it. in order
right, and I
for it
think
to
the
work.
understanding is the big part, but we've already kind of dissected a lot of it and just gone ahead and removed a lot of it, just doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Mike, on this utilities, it says 135,000. Define utility, electric, what else are the utilities?
Right, so utilities, if you look at our kind of cheat sheets later on in the packet here, we have, or if you just go back to our coding system. So utility is gonna be Aquarium Water, Peterson Oil for our main office, not the garage, National Grid, Mass Solar, Verizon, Wind Waste Innovations, and American Alarm, just for the main building, the pump station, nothing else. And the bulk of the utility cost is obviously National Grid, which has gone up,
Big increases.
it's gone
Yeah,
up
right, yeah.
38%,
Yeah.
30%. So like this year, when we
Yeah.
were surprised by that final bill, it's really the utility cost that just kind of skyrocketed on us.
I personally don't understand how, you know, like aquarium water and things like that, how does that affect us? How do we benefit from that?
Well, we
I
need.
mean, that's what I look at,
Yeah,
things,
but I
and
mean,
say
you know,
things,
so you
how's it
guys
benefit
are
us?
responsible for running our office building, our pump
Yeah.
station. We have water feeds that go into those buildings. So based on, so your percentage of the flow to run those two buildings is what you get charged for,
So when you say pump stations, you mean pump station?
single pump station.
Yeah, all right, you got plural there.
Well, we have two
Yeah.
pump stations in our yard there.
Yeah.
We have a local one that
Yeah.
pumps out the tanks.
Yeah. Again, all right, Jack, can I ask a question? I want to ask a
Yeah,
question about,
yeah.
Upper Blackstone. I mean, we're all at their mercy, I really understand that. Way back when we used to talk about, they came across with, how are they assessing you? Are they charging you per 1,000 gallons? That used to be a big question at one time. That it used to be, you know, was it $1.20 something or whatever it is? I'm just throwing it out there. That you were being charged by how much you pumped to them. And it goes with the 3-year rolling average. I understand that, how that goes.
Right.
But I don't know how they assess that to you.
By percentage,
Huh?
percentage.
Percentage, they don't charge you by the 1,000 gallons anymore?
Well, it works out that way, but they base everything on each one of the members of Upper Blackstone are charged on the amount of flows they send to the Upper Blackstone.
Right, yeah.
Like Whistler is the biggest, I think they're up to like 80% of the
Right.
total bill goes to them. That's how they base Millbury on. The amount of flow we send to them is a certain percentage of the total. Basically, what we do it almost the same way we're doing it with you.
Well, the town of Worcester's got their combined sewers too, so that don't help me. You know what I mean? That's exactly what their problem is.
And they set your rate for the following year, is that correct?
Right. Yes, we already have our assessment for the next year.
Right.
Yeah. Which
I
has gone
know-
up 11%.
Right. It's gone up 11%?
Yeah, so it's on the next page here, you can look at the increase in cost.
Was
Yeah,
it like
Blackstone.
4 last year, was it?
It's gone up the past 3 years, 8%, 9%, 11%.
Okay, well,
And just to keep your heads up, they got some more big projects that want to happen up there. So that the bills are gonna be getting a little bit higher too, coming in the future, so.
what are they
It's
doing?
full.
Trickle that.
Right, yeah.
Well, they're upgrading all the equipment over there, putting, solar, more solar in there. It's a big project they have coming up.
Now, you mentioned solar. How does solar have anything to do with, you know, our cost?
Good question. The mass solar item, I don't know much about. I know we have, the whole town has a solar systems and we get credit through National Grid. It's distributed to various departments
Right.
based on what the finance department wants to do. So if you want more detail on that Mass Solar item, I can provide it, just not right now, because I don't know.
No, similar down in Manchester. You get the fire departments got solars, they got the senior centers got
Right.
solars, and our solars on ours.
Mhm.
And I've been here for 23 years and I haven't had a handle on electricity yet. I have, you know
That's
what
by
I mean?
I can understand that.
They don't want you to know.
It's a
No.
complicated
I
system.
mean, here you are with your budget, and you
Right.
know, first of the year, they're jacking it up 15-20%.
Right.
Well, you're not appropriate for it, and it's terrible. It really is. It's terrible. But I think what we're trying to do here is that we just paid a last payment to you for our construction costs for the facilities. All right, there it is right there. We paid a total of $1,512,000. That's of course over from fiscal 10 to 26.
The last year, the end of it.
The end of it,
Yeah.
right, yeah. So, you know, so it was that time there we started talking, maybe it's a good time for us to start talking about the intermunicipal agreement. I mean, there's nobody here, you know, in both towns that know more what's going on than people sitting here. You guys been here as long as I've been, you know what I mean? And I think this is the time maybe we start throwing back some dialogue back and forth, you know, addressing our concerns, we'll address your concerns. One concern that, I mean, you have, and it's my pet peeve, is that this indirect cost has never been addressed in the intermunicipal agreement. It's not in there, you know what I mean? And again, we're not here to start dissecting, getting back in there, but that's something that needs to be addressed, you know, in the intermunicipal agreement. One of our main concerns is Upper Blackstone don't restrict anybody in regards to how much they pump, allotment, nobody. You know, I know that for a fact, and I talked to the woman in charge there. And I just think that we're our allotment from the town of Millbury, $600,000, we feel that, you know, we're partners in this thing here. We paid you twice on your break and all that, not contesting any of that whatsoever. What we want is the same language everybody else has, you know, with Upper Blackstone. I mean, we understand we reach a certain point in your treatment facility where we start getting close to 1 million gallons, and hey, what's going on here? That's fine. Let's put some language in there when we start getting up there, come back to the tables and negotiate. But I don't, and I think that's what we're a little concerned about, is that, you know, we know about the peak flow in these 600,000 gallons that we got, was it 800? I think it's 600. 600. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, there's not coming in Sutton. I'm not gonna see that flow. Nobody sitting here is gonna see that flow at 600,000. It's just a matter, we're looking at, you know, the new language, next generation coming up, and, I mean, that's our big thing. You guys should be thinking the same thing, next generation. Who's gonna be sitting down and negotiating, just don't know what the heck's going on here? You know what I mean? And that's the way, you know, that's the way I'm looking at it, that's the way we're looking at it too. I mean,
Well, the other thing that's, it seems that people are getting creative, even more creative than they were in the past about, you know, development. Who knows what sort of regional
Right.
stuff is. You had a thing in the back, I mean, this is pretty thorough, Mark, but, you know, not until, based on current planning, it'll be well past the end of the existing intermunicipal agreement that we get anywhere near close to the
Right.
600,000.
65% in
But
2035.
It only will take, you know, one project that none of us know is going on right now to change all of that. And,
Right. If it does, then we talk about it and we update the agreement and that's
right.
that.
Well, I don't think we're talking about any wholesale changes.
Right.
But I think one of the things that Donna's getting to is that the original number was based on,
construction.
a map was drawn.
Right.
You know, where's the need for sewer?
Yeah.
And this map was drawn back in I think in the 70s, and it came up with areas in Sutton that were likely to need sewer, and they made a projection, and then how much sewer that would require, and that's where I believe that sort of gallonage came from, and that was extrapolated into that percentage that we use today, or that maximum amount of, that peak flow that we use today. And it's more than 50, it's 50 years old anyways now.
Right.
So, you know, the reasoning for it, although we still use it, is sort of outdated. And the map that it refers to is certainly not inclusive. It may include some of it, but it's not even, it doesn't even include some of the areas that are serviced by sewer today. And it's not necessarily a good reference point, although it's still part of the original, part of the IMA that exists right now, and is referenced. So, I mean, I think that's part of the point.
I just want to give you a scenario here, is that you guys had a meeting with a project that wants to go into South Sutton there. I don't want to say this, I know it's not on the agenda,
West
but,
Sutton.
right, we know, right. So now if that impacts there and you allow that coming in, does that affect us?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's what I'm just talking about, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
That's,
that whole line would be part of the common system at that point.
right, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. And that's why, you know, I didn't feel comfortable attending that meeting, because
Mhm.
I'm not here to promote a developer, you know what I mean? I have no say in the matter, it all comes here with you guys making decision making. There was nothing I was gonna go to that meeting and have any impact on it. I didn't feel comfortable going to that meeting, you know what I mean? And again, out of respect for the town of Millbury, that's your call,
Right.
you know what I mean? And it's, you know, I don't wanna make it sound like we're attending this meeting to promote the developer, and that's exactly what I think it would look like.
Yeah.
And that's why I wouldn't attend it. And
It
that's
also
just-
puts you guys on the hook for, you know, for 18.8% of more common system, that whole common sewer that flows through the whole entire town.
Yeah.
You know, so it actually absolutely does impact you guys.
So which I just said, you pay for every pump station, that's where it goes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it probably end up being a losing proposition for us,
Well,
you know, I mean, cost-wise,
Well,
you know?
Right.
And I mean, that was just the example of what, you know what I mean? I'm just, you know, wanted to talk about, but
Basically, that's the problem. We can't just give you unlimited flow to our pump station. The original 18.8% was based on the plan that your engineering came up with as far as the flow
Yeah.
coming to us. If we give you an unlimited top number, then as you're sending more flow to us, your percentage of the 18% is going to increase. And if you don't have a number to calculate it by, we don't know how we're gonna charge you if we don't know what the numbers are gonna be.
well,
But if we're
Well, no,
paying if we're paying a percentage, what difference would it make? If you're paying so much percentage of what you're pulling in,
Right.
if we increase that, that increase is gonna be percentage
And
the same.
that's O&M costs.
Right.
The
Right.
18.8% is the capital costs.
Right.
right,
And that's based on peak flow, ratio of peak flow.
And
Which
if that-
we have the data, so I pulled the data since, because now we have the high tide systems. I pulled it since April, and we're still at 18%.
Right.
The ratio of your peak flow to the total peak flow. So it's still accurate.
Right.
how many times we've hit that?
Well, yeah, and that's, we really want, we want
Yeah.
like years of data. We don't want to do this based on 3 months,
Yeah,
but just
right.
as an example, like, it's still a reasonable number.
Yeah, yeah, I don't think we're not talking about negotiating a number now, you know what I
No,
mean?
no.
That's not what it's all about, and I respect what Gary's saying about getting that unlimited flow, but I'm just, you know, we're not gonna see this flow, we're not gonna see the 1,000,000 gallons a day.
Yeah, so why
You know
not
what I
just
mean?
leave the cap, because it's inconsequential, it doesn't really matter for anything, so it's
So why
just
can't-
semantics, like, it's just, well, what's the, you know, you say the cap doesn't actually matter, so why are we gonna change it, why?
Well, because if you change the MIA, only do that, get right back to the tables, get right back to the board of
Which
selectmen,
we
sign it.
will, yeah, we'll do that come, 2032, we'll do that, but, say, right now,
Well, we're only talking 5 years, six
Right.
years on the road.
yeah.
So I don't know what you mean by, you know, what do you feel that's gonna impact us in 2032?
Well, are you asking us to remove the flow restriction, like, from the IMA currently? Like add an amendment to the IMA and remove the flow restriction, like, now? 'Cause that's kind of as we understand it, where we're talking about how we're gonna negotiate 7 years from now.
I think we're here to update the MIA so that we don't,
Yeah, but, well, that's a lot of fees, a lot of attorneys to get back into the IMA, to crack it open for what we just both admitted, there's no real reason, we're not getting anywhere close to the cap, so.
well, first of all, the Board of Selectmen ain't gonna bring nothing to this table. All right, let's face it.
What the
Anything
what?
that comes to the Board of Selectmen from both towns ain't gonna bring anything to the table on the IMA. The only one's gonna bring things to the table is us
Yeah.
right here sitting here. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm just trying to say. The people that has the knowledge of what we're doing here, or what needs to be done. This is why we're here, you know what I mean? And we wanna just get the ball rolling, 'cause I'm not gonna be here in 2032. I might not be here tomorrow.
Let's revolve.
That's all.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think it was just, we just paid off our debt for regards to that there. We just thought it was a good time, where maybe we should start looking at, you know what I mean? I mean, even some of the things that we talked about here, and, like, the indirect costs and things like that, wait till 2032. Well, in the meantime, that's not helping us out any. You know what I mean?
Well, we are helping you, because we just reduced it by 60,000. We're trying to work
Yeah.
with you outside the bounds of the IMA, where we'd have to kind of go in and actually redo the agreement.
Just to backtrack on the indirect costs, one thing I would suggest is have our town, to have Tim Harrison take a look at this. These
Like I said
indirect
earlier.
costs.
Like I said earlier.
Yeah, if he
Yeah,
was
he get
involved in it.
with- I don't know who.
And just ask for his guidance on this a bit, and see what his thoughts are on it.
Well,
In terms of the rationale on it,
Right.
anyways.
Well, my concern, or my issue, whatever you want to say, the town accountants don't sign the IMA. I don't even know what they're sitting down together, start making percentage here, percentage there, where it should be with us. I mean, that's what I'm getting at.
Well,
No, I think in talking about in concert with us, but
Right.
in terms of what is a, reasonable accounting procedure as far as this is concerned. Because incidental costs, they're entitled to be compensated for incidental costs.
Right.
I don't know what you consider this day and age an incidental cost. Is it a piece of paper? How do they recoup that stuff? I really don't know. That's why, so that notwithstanding, that's what I would like to do, is see what Tim has to say about that. And then we can talk more about
sure.
this. I mean, we've already done with this through the, this end of the fiscal year anyways, correct? We're on to the next
But
one.
Right.
Wouldn't a percentage, whatever the percentage is we come up with, wouldn't that cover incidental costs, everything? Just, here's your percentage, this is what you're gonna pay on what you're putting in.
So that's gonna be paid based on flow. So that's one of those items that's paid based on the amount of flow you send,
Right.
the percentage of flow.
But the other incidentals, all right, let's say right now it's 18%, 12%, whatever it is.
So
All right,
that relates to capital costs.
okay. Now, all your incidental costs, what if we went up another percentage and now cover everything? Versus, this year it's 1,000, this is 30,000. If we went with a percentage, then our accountant can say, okay, this is the percentage we've gotta pay.
Yeah.
And there's not this fluctuation.
One percentage for both O and M and also.
Well, whatever the
capital.
percentage the accountants would come up with versus I have a real problem with,
It's gonna change anyway, when you've got increase in utilities, that's gonna change it
but
every year.
again, if you
So
have,
it's
if
gonna
we
be
agree
difficult
to a
to come up with
percentage,
a percentage,
A
when
percent.
that's gonna change.
but again, that percentage won't change, fluctuate continually the way we are now, and we'll know that everything is included in that 1% or 2%, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Right? You don't, the cost of cleaning went up. Okay, that's, within that 1%. Because the way I'm looking at this now, it's almost like we have no idea what we're gonna pay next week or next month. And I have a problem with that.
Well, I would
Because
think
we-
Mark does too.
Yeah.
But that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
But again, you get back to, you have a control over these expenses, we don't.
To a degree.
Yeah. You have a control over these expenses, we don't. So whatever you expend it out, we're gonna pay a percentage of. We're limiting the percentage In other words, it's a 2%, 3%, so that we don't have this fluctuation. That's the only thing that I'm interested in.
I can
But
concerned with.
sometimes, how can we figure out what a Mass Electric for 10 years, or just,
For 1 year, for that matter.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
year by
And
year, you could change, that's what I'm saying, year
Yeah.
by year. But you have
So
a
it's still
good
gonna
idea.
fluctuate, that's my point.
But it shouldn't fluctuate as much as,
How much do utilities go up in 1 year?
30%, something like
right,
that.
and if our percentage of flow is at a percentage, it should incorporate that.
I see what you're saying, only I don't think the math is as easy as you think it is.
That's why I said, let the accountants figure it out.
I mean, we could look at historical flow data, and you talk about just looking at, like, kind of averaging out all the flow ratios for the
Yeah.
year, and just kind of saying, you're gonna pay 12%, and just settle on that. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's an idea, I mean, it would kind of stabilize things, I mean, it wouldn't be the most fair thing, because it's not based on actual flow, but as an accounting exercise, it might help.
We could run it through and see what
Yeah,
happens.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
something we can both agree on.
Right.
The O&M changes every day.
Right.
Right, but I think what he's saying is their percentage of the O&M cost.
I see what you're saying.
Well, how would you calculate that? I mean, your flow changes from quarter to quarter.
Okay, then as our flow changes, the percentage of that flow that we're paying will change. So it'll be matched.
That's what we're doing now.
Right. But again, we'd have a better idea of what we're paying the money for.
Well, your flows are gonna change for simple fact is you get your summer use, you get your winter use.
Right.
We all know what that is.
And
Summertime, they're
incidentals
higher,
change as well.
you know, and then of course, in the colder months, it's not. I've got one thing that just concerns me, what you were saying about Upper Blackstone, if you don't mind. You said that they pay you by a percentage. How can they give you an amount not knowing what your percentage is? I don't understand it.
The percentage they charge us
Yeah,
is based on the flow that we send them.
right, I
Just like-
understand that.
Just like we charge you, flow you sent to us, 12%,
Yeah,
we send up, right now, I think it's 4.5%. That's what our flow is, going up the Upper Blackstone. And that changes, and when we send more flow up there, that percentage is gonna increase, and our cost is gonna increase on charge.
so this amount that they assess to you, you know what I mean, for that fiscal year, this is what strictly based upon, how they come up with your percentage, just what you throw, or their total or percentage of what they process?
The total flow going into the Upper Blackstone,
Yeah, total flow, up and down, so yeah.
each member, whatever their flow is, that makes up that total flow, that's their percentage.
So it's based upon the total flow. Alright.
Percentage of total.
It's probably
Yeah.
total cost, and then, you know, and then if Worcester contributes
It's-
80% of the flow, they pay 80% of the bill.
Right, okay, so here's my other great Upper Blackstone's concept of percentage. Do you still, they still call you up and ask you how much you pump to us?
Yes.
Okay, whatever. That's just unbelievable. And that's to all the members. They
Right.
call all the members up, how much did you pump to us? Thank
Right.
you.
Right,
That's it.
sure.
That's how they assess their uses. It's been like that since I've been here, I don't understand that, but whatever. Okay, I just wanna make sure we're on the same page. All right. The purpose of being here this evening is not, you know, we wanna work together.
We
That's what we
understand
wanna
that.
do. And that's all, and some of these concerns that we're throwing out there, you might get a little misinterpretation of what we're trying to get at. We're not looking for anything more than what anybody else is getting. That's all we want. We want to be treated, you know what I mean? I like, everybody else is basically being treated, which means more from Upper Blackstone in the town of Millbury. However, you know, with us, with our agreement, is totally different than probably anybody else that is up Upper Blackstone. I don't know anybody else who pumps to another town. Auburn maybe pumps to Worcester or,
Oxford.
I think it's Cherry Valley goes through Auburn into Worcester. So they get a charge of, I think they have to charge Auburn has to charge you so much, so. Yeah, it's, Worcester goes, I don't know, who goes into Worcester?
Yeah.
All the other towns go into Worcester before they go into the plant, so they gotta have each metered.
We could look at other IMAs for examples and
Yeah.
see what kind of language other folks are using for these type of things.
So getting rid
I don't
of
think there's that many, I don't recall too many IMAs
Yeah.
with the members up there, other
Right.
than us. I think we're kinda unique.
all right, I just can't get this Upper Blackstone out of my head, so it's gonna be the last question I ask. If Upper Blackstone is charging you based upon the total flow, and you paying 3-4%, why are we paying 12-13%?
But that's of our total.
Yeah,
Right.
so what, are we
So,
paying for your flow
so
also?
if we're sending out 100 gallons, then we're paying for that. If you're using 12% of that, then you're gonna pay for 12% of that 100 that we're paying for, correct?
And the
That's
total
how it works.
altogether, when we send it there, is 3%, 5%, whatever it is.
It's not like we're being charged 4 or 5% up there, Blackstone.
Right.
I said, okay, let's charge Sutton 12%. I mean, it's.
Exactly what's happening.
Everything's just
No,
based
it
on,
isn't.
on flow ratio.
No, I'm
That's
just.
how it is, you know?
Yeah, just kidding.
Do you know, when we have our meetings and we talk about Sutton, the first thing out of Gary's mouth, our engineers, that we wanna be fair.
do.
Those words come out of our,
Yeah.
is never to say, and we always say, let's have a meeting with Sutton to get together and see if this was gonna be fair or not.
Right.
And it's always on it's one of our points that we're gonna do things.
You know, we're an organism, we have to
Oh,
work
I
together.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
why we're here. I
No,
don't
no,
think-
No one thinks you are.
No,
Right,
no, but
I-
you expressed to us that we're not there, we're not here for that.
No.
But I wanna express to you that
Okay.
our committee many times have talked and said, what's the fairest way and make sure that it's gonna be
It's gotta be
right.
equitable to all of
Right.
us.
Well, right now, the committee or this table is doing that. Doesn't mean that a committee coming in 2 years from now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind
Right.
of what I'd like to get something
Sure.
on black and white so that, team coming after you may not look at it that way. And I'd like to see something where this is.
Maybe-
Well, it makes sense.
Maybe
to-
we
to
start
iron
kind
this out.
of marking this up, you
Yeah.
guys have a round at it, and then we'll kind of meet, and we'll
Yeah.
just go back
That
and
I'd like to
forth,
see.
and we're not gonna sign it, we're not gonna kind of crack it open officially, but
Right.
we can all come to an understanding on it.
Well-
That the two sewer departments agree on these changes
Right.
for the
That-
next round, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
That would make some sense, and I think the couple of things that I was saying, there's some stuff in here that doesn't make sense relative to what the existing conditions are right now. And maybe that's maybe just a start would be, maybe we drop a paragraph or two in here that doesn't apply. Or maybe we tighten up the incidental costs to accurately describe the indirect cost.
Right.
And then, when Don, Dan, and I are no longer here, the next group that comes in and says, what are these indirect costs? Well, this is what the indirect
yeah,
costs
sure.
are.
Right.
Because, I didn't know what they were, and I don't think anybody really had a clue as to what they, I know what an indirect cost is, but without this, accounting of them and what the percentages of them are, you don't have a clue. And then you can't, it's hard to do a budget too,
Right,
if you don't have
right, it is.
what they are, and the budgets become much more, it's not just giving somebody a piece of paper with a number on it
Yeah.
Right.
anymore. You gotta give them the, much more
I
exact.
think it's a great idea, as you said earlier, to have your accountant go over the same list
Yeah.
and make recommendations, and then we can do the same at our end, and try to come up with something equitable for all of us.
We'll just make some kind of draft amendments that
Yeah.
both sewer departments sign and agree upon, and
Yeah.
then, we'll
You don't have to,
Make it official
revise-
when the
you don't have
time's
to do
right.
a whole new one.
I
No,
think
no,
that's
right.
what Isn't that what you were talking about to begin with?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But you said it all, I mean, you don't wanna get lawyers involved with this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not-
It
not
just-
at this
that's-
point.
That's,
no.
we have enough work to do, you know?
Yeah.
I had no dealing with engineers and,
Right.
you know, that.
This you produce.
And we also have, we have flow data now, we have your flow
Yes.
data, you have our
Yes.
flow data.
Right.
We can figure out these ratios of peak flows, where we can figure out exactly what the numbers should be now.
Yeah.
And we can tighten them up as we go, we can change
Yeah.
them as we go if you want, you know, it's.
Any big capital expenditures coming up that we don't know about?
So we wrapped up the force main inspection, we haven't got the results yet.
So
If we
That
have
may
5
tell.
leaks, if we have 5 leaks in the force main, we got some work to do, we got some money to spend. As far as other things, I think our pumps are in good shape.
Yeah, the only thing, Michael, I would like to bring that to your attention is that, you know, what you did with your pumps over here, what you
Yeah.
do with the, your commuters and all that
Yeah.
way in there, you know, I need a little more time for appropriation,
Agreed.
you know what I mean?
Sorry about that.
You give it to me the last
I-
month, yeah, my budgets are done.
We talked about this,
Yeah.
I kind of forgot the fact that we send those bills out
After,
separately.
yeah.
When, as soon as we bought it, we should have sent you the bill for it.
Yeah.
That was our fault.
Yeah. What I'd like to just address the board here right now is that I have to commend Mark on any time I call him up, any kind of questions, whatever, he's right there with the answers, he always get back to us. Excellent job on assessing this, you know what I mean,
Very good,
really,
very good.
really good. I mean, you know, we talked about lack of accountability, I think we've overcome that with the new meter and so forth now. And now, want to move forward, you understand why we want to move forward, just for the simple fact is, you know, Mark nailed it. Let's get in and let's start making if, ands, or buts. You know what I mean? We're not looking to start addressing anything in regards to cost. We want addressing language. That's what
Right.
needs to be done.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Makes
That's-
perfect sense.
That's what we want to do, and that's why
Good
we're
job
here.
on this.
You know what I mean?
I'm new to the board, and that was very,
And every time Dawn challenges me, it helps me understand it more, so I'm always happy to have these conversations. The indirect cost thing, I wasn't too familiar with it about a month ago, but now I am, because because you forced me to dig through it, so here we are.
Donald,
We
just,
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
just to make you aware of the fact, every time you call Mark, that he's got a meter over there. You see the additional cost?
Yeah.
a new line item.
Those are those
You
hidden
lied,
hidden costs.
that's it.
The hidden costs, you know. But,
and he's making $150 an hour, so it's gonna add up.
all right, so we'll take the advice, I think that's what we do, if it's all right, you know. Summer months is kind of tough for me, I'm going on vacation
Yeah.
in August, so we can maybe put something for September. Is that
Perfect,
all right?
perfect.
You know, plenty of time to, you know,
Yes.
get in, we have to just review this late email we got.
Yeah.
But,
This board is eager to work with you, we want to work with you.
Yeah.
And we have talked many times of us to get together and hash
This
these
is good.
things out.
This is good.
it's very good, very
Yeah.
good dialogue,
We-
that's what we need.
want
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, this is good.
It makes
Very
it easier
good.
for the next group.
Terrific.
all right.
Make it easier for our group. Who's getting who?
Make it easy
For
for
both of us.
everybody.
That's it.
Definitely.
Well, the other thing is, it makes it easy to react to things too. I mean,
Yeah.
if we can operate.
Right, face to face
you know,
makes it
as
easier.
sort of
Right.
one unit. where we
Absolutely.
can,
Absolutely it does.
you know.
Definitely.
You know, when one of the meetings up at Upper Blackstone, when I found out that, oh boy, the new town manager
Austin?
Boston, yeah.
was coming to town.
Yeah.
I had mentioned the fact that we were meeting with you guys, that if we wanted to attend the meeting, that we get familiarized with what's going on. But everybody, he's too busy right now to come, so.
Oh, yeah, he's got a lot of appointments.
Yeah, I'll
Sure. Yeah, he does,
yeah.
a lot in there, but, he's not one to stay behind the desk. He made that perfectly clear to us at the department head meetings and so forth. And I'll tell you, what a very approachable guy. Sit down, he's a good listener, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
he's, you know, I wish him nothing but the best.
You're going from one good town manager to another good town manager, huh?
There you go.
Yeah, we're lucky. Town managers don't stay there for 18 years if you ain't doing anything right, you know what I mean?
True.
You know, that's exactly what Jim Smith did, so,
Yeah.
but
Well, never mind, I was gonna say, is he done? Of course he's done.
he's on. Definitely. thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
All
righty.
Thank you very much.
Terrific.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
And thank you, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Good to see you.
Look forward to seeing
Thank
you.
you.
more
Happy, always a
Yeah,
pleasure, my
great.
friend.
Very good.
Mark.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
if you have any questions on any of that,
I will.
stop by,
Happy
call,
thanks.
email.
Good to see you again.
Yeah,
Yep.
and thank you.
I appreciate when you respond to my emails as well.
You didn't talk to me, say nothing, that's
No,
good.
I take it all in.
Yeah.
Take it all in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The off button.